Morning guys. Right, so what's happening today? I think I'm about to start getting involved in decatting this Lamborghini I've got. I've watched loads of videos, mainly Ricky from RE Performance and a few other videos, and one of the main things they say about these cars is to get the cats out of them. They reckon they're pretty reliable, but the cats, if you don't know, they supposedly break up and get sucked back into the engine, which I certainly do not want. So my thought today is to have a little look at what's involved in getting these cats off. I'm not bothered about making the decat pipes. That part of it for me is quite easy. But physically getting the cats off, this isn't a vehicle that I've worked on yet, so everything's a little bit new, a little bit foreign. But I know I shouldn't speak too soon, but looking at it, it's just nuts and bolts, just like any other car, isn't it really? So that's the way I'm looking at it. So let's have a look. So as you can see, here we go. I've got two bolts down there holding this end of the cat onto the exhaust. Same this side, obviously, it's a V10. And then I believe these air boxes have got to come off. And then, from what I read online, you need to get down inside the inner wheel arch to get to the other two bolts on the opposite end of the cat. Then I believe with this lot out the way, they just pull out the top, and then it's just a case of fabricating up the new pipes. I'd also been looking at there's some breather pipes going on to the air boxes. I'm gonna have a quick look at them because I don't know if they are putting hot oil into the intake, which is a common thing on most engines. I don't know if it's a common thing on these, but if that's something this is doing, is putting a little bit of oil into the intake. Obviously, I might make an oil catch tank to put in the engine bay here somewhere, to run that to before it goes back to the intake. There's probably some people screaming at this video saying, what are you doing touching a Lamborghini? What are you doing messing about with it yourself? You should be going into Lamborghini. Well, from the moment I bought this car, I always said any maintenance, anything that needed doing on it, I would be doing. I'm not scared to get involved in this car, Lamborghini, Peugeot, whatever. It's all the same to me, so I will quite happily get involved in this. So yeah, I'm going to start taking some of this apart and see where we end up. If I get them made, brilliant. I believe these things spit pretty big flames once they've got decats on, so it'd be lovely if it does that. I love a Lambo and love flames, so the two combined, couldn't go wrong. So yeah, I'm going to start taking some bits apart, and I'm going to film bits along the way, and we'll see where we end up. Hopefully we end up with a decatted Lamborghini that spits lots of flames. That's the end result, hopefully, fingers crossed, and mainly safe. I do not want these cats going into that engine. So let's crack on and yeah, see what we can do. Start by pulling off these air boxes and yeah, see what room we're left with and stuff like that. I've never got involved in this car as of yet, anything like this, so it's a bit of a big thing for me. I'm not nervous, like I say, it's nuts and bolts, but yeah, it's not something that I've just adjust this camera slightly. It's not something that I've ventured into before. I might as well, while this is all apart, I might order myself a couple of panel filters for inside these air boxes. Again, I don't know what's inside them, so we'll have a little look and see. It might already have panel filters inside, I guess. But I'm assuming they're going to be standard. I'm getting to the point now where I need to do a service on this car anyway, so there's a special tool that you can buy from the States for undoing the oil filter. They don't seem to sell them over here, well, not that I found anyway. If anybody knows anywhere that I can get one from over in the UK, give me a shout. Have seen kits over in the States where you can get an oil filter and the oil filter wrench all in one kit, so might have a look at one of those. But it'd be handy if I could find one in the UK, really save paying for import tax and stuff like that. I might even, if I can get my hands on one, I might even, if I have to go to the States, I might even get some made over here, so that I could sell them for other people that are struggling to get hold of them, because like I say, all I seem to be able to find at the moment is ones in America. So this is what I meant about these intake pipes. So this one is off the right hand bank, and as you can see, that's the one that hasn't got a breather pipe going to it, and it is completely clean in there, absolutely no residue, nothing. Whereas this one that is off of the left hand bank, which has got a breather pipe to it, although it has got a gauze going into the pipe, I don't know if you can see, but just in there is oil residue, which obviously you don't really want on an intake. And if you look at the actual throttle body itself, that one is definitely dirtier than that one. So I do think that while this is all apart, or maybe not today if I don't get time, but I'm definitely going to be making an oil catch tank for this engine, just to pipe in between there and this intake, just to stop anything going in there. It's got to help. We all know about intake temps and stuff like that, and hot oil going into intakes just doesn't really mix. So I think before this all goes back together, I'll knock up a quick oil catch tank. So I reckon, don't know if you can quite make it out from, there you go, you can. I reckon in there they are aftermarket filters. I don't reckon they're standard, which is good to see. So I can maybe give them, they're very dirty, so I'll give them a clean and yeah, see where we go from there. So this breather that I was on about is actually, now I've got this off, you can see the breather is coming off the top of the dry sump tank, and So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that to a small oil catch tank in the bay here. Everything else under here looks pretty good, to be fair. There's a little bit of dirt here and there, but nothing that you wouldn't expect to see on an engine. Or whatever this is, I don't really know what this is. This was attached to the bottom of the airbox. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. And then yeah, so here is the cats. Got those 2 bolts there, those 2 bolts there, and then I'm hoping these will come out of that hole. That's the plan anyway. Whether it works out that way is another thing. We'll see. Where am I up to? Let's see. God, I have parts everywhere, wheels, and I've got all the inner arch off this thing now. So I've just undone these connectors here, which are sensors for the exhaust, and there were some bolts that ran straight through the chassis to get that big aluminium cross brace off there. That needed to come off to get the cats out of the way. Now there's a fitting on the exhaust under there and 2 on the top. The bolts have actually snapped in that one down there, but it's not an issue. I'll sort that out. I'm not too concerned about that. Everything else so far seems to have gone okay. I don't think I am a million miles off now actually pulling the cat out of the hole. So yeah, while this is all off under here as well, I'm definitely going to give it all a good clean, considering it is all kind of out in the open as such. It's all in pretty good condition, to be fair. There's a lot going on under here. I've noticed a little bit of a leak on the power steering pipe, so I'll probably try and sort that out while I'm here as well. But yeah, I quite enjoy this, I'm not gonna lie. Most people would absolutely squint at the thought of me taking a Lamborghini apart, but anybody that knows me knows that I don't really care. I'll take it apart, and it's just nuts and bolts. It's nothing I can't put back together again. So I'm actually having fun doing this because I'm learning a lot about the car. And when I bought this car, the whole point of me buying it, and I'd said to everybody, because everybody said to me, oh, what about the maintenance, etc. And I said the same thing to everybody, is that I'm not going to send this car into Lamborghini. I will be doing it all myself. So getting stuck into this really doesn't bother me at all. So I'm going to drop it down from the ramp, show you from above, and then I'm going to try and pull this. I think I've got one more lambda sensor to undo, and then this cat, this side, should be ready to pull out. I have undone most of the other side, so haven't got an awful lot to do on that side, but I think one of the bolts on the other side is going to be a lot trickier to get to than this side. But hopefully still won't be too much of a problem. So I think that should be everything that I need to get this first. Bits falling everywhere, not what you want. Oh wow. I think one pipe down here, which looks like some kind of hard line, which is kind of hard to come out, but there we have one Lamborghini cat out. Ugh. Wow. Actually wasn't that bad. What I am really pleased to see though with these cats, because it was a bit of a worry of mine, is I'm pleased to see that the inside of them is all still intact. Like I said, the whole reason why I'm taking this out is one, flames, and secondly, these cats are prone for breaking down and being sucked back into the engine, which causes bore score, stuff like that, and then loss of compression results in, obviously, knackered engine. So everybody says it is key to get these cats off the car just for safety more than anything. So yeah, I'm really pleased that these are all in one piece. There's absolutely no sign in there of loose pieces, or I'm looking inside and there's nothing missing. So yeah, that's quite a relief, to be honest, because that had been in the back of my brain. What if I take them off and there's chunks missing? It would always be a worry. So as you can see down there now, I have just got one big gap, really. I mean, it's surprising how much room that thing takes up. And these are obviously original cats. Like I said, I don't know if you'll be able to see in there, but it's all still in one piece, which is really nice to see. I'm obviously going to have to put these sensors back into my decat pipes, but yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with how that one's gone. Now it's just to get that one out there. I've got a lot of the bits undone already, so just these two bolts down there, the two down the back, a couple of sensors, and then that one's out as well. And yeah, we'll see how this next side goes. So that is it. We have two catalytic converters out. So now I need to start fabricating the new ones to go down in there. This side was a nightmare to get out, all because of one bolt. The head had rounded off on a 13mm clamp which holds the cat to the manifolds. One bolt. It's always one bolt, isn't it? That had rounded off. I tried it. It's supposed to be a 13mm. I tried a 12 on it. It would not come undone. So I ended up cracking out the plasma cutter, which is never fun. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that if ever you're struggling to get something undone, the plasma cutter never fails to do the job. So that's off now. Cats are off now. I can crack on and get the decat pipes made. So there we have it. I've made now the decat pipe. It's down in there. It's looking really good. So now I need to weld in the lambda sensor spacers, which have got these little bits of mesh in the end. This is kind of, I'm assuming, to trick the ECU into thinking the cats are still there, so hopefully that's going to stop me getting an engine management light. We'll see how that goes. And then there was two sensors. This sensor here, I've had to cut that off of the original cat just because I haven't got a fitting for it. Excuse me, that's my compressor. And then I've also got this other sensor here, which again, this little bit here, I've had to cut that off the original cat. The original cats are going to get scrapped anyway, so I'll just weigh them in. So I can use this to fit this sensor. So I'm going to weld them now into the new decat pipes, and that's one side done. I don't think I'm going to get this finished tonight, just because I don't want to stay here too late. I've had a day of it today, so I might have to continue with this tomorrow afternoon. I've got some things to do in the morning, so I might have to continue with this tomorrow afternoon. But one way or the other, by tomorrow evening, this will be decatted and back on the road. So yeah, quite successful really. So there we go. That is one decat pipe made. So I've put the lambda sensor bung in there, the other sensor there, and then the other sensor there. So yeah, that's it. I think they charge about 1,500 quid for a set of these decat pipes. So the fact that I can whip a set up just like this, it's pretty cool really. And obviously, what kind of a fabrication shop am I if I can't do my own stuff? So yeah, really happy with them. So there we go, it's one wheel arch liner all back in, everything under there all nice and clean, ready for that wheel to go back on. Forward for it to break. you think?
Nice. Loud.
Very loud.
To be fair, like when it's moving, it's just a cold start at the start, isn't it? It's very loud. But then when you're in and driving, it's not that loud.
So that was obviously cold start. Definitely louder on cold start. But I do think, and I don't know how, I do think at certain RPMs, when I was driving it home yesterday, it's actually quieter, and I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's definitely quieter at certain RPMs. Getting a lot of pops and bangs out of the exhaust. I don't know if any of them are flamed yet because I haven't been behind it, but yeah, it's horrible on cold start. It is very, very loud on cold start. If any of my neighbours are watching this, I'm sorry, and I do feel bad, but am I going to change it? No, probably not. So yeah, I'm sorry. He's not sorry. Not sorry. So, but the safety of knowing that those cats aren't in there when they are supposed to be as problematic as what they are. It's a well-known fact. If you do any research on these cats in these pre-LP cars, I don't know if it changed on the LP, but the pre-LP cars, I know they were very, very prone to the cats breaking up and being sucked back into the engine. Now, when I took the cats off this, I did have a look inside, and luckily mine was still all in one piece. So I'm happy that nothing has gone back into the engine. But I am very, very pleased that I've got them out now, just to prevent anything happening in the future, because I would not want to be carrying out. Well, I wouldn't be able to carry out an engine rebuild on this, but I wouldn't want to be doing that. So I'm happy that they're out. I would have liked to have got a little bit more video footage of me putting it all back together yesterday, but I actually forgot to bring my camera down. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame. But I did watch a video on some guy taking the original cats off of one of these cars, and I don't know why, but he seemed to think that the only way to get them out was to remove the rear bumper, everything like that. I mean, he went to a massive effort to just get the rear cats out, and that certainly wasn't the case for me. Now, this is the first time for me taking this car apart, so I'm certainly no expert by any means, but I'd like to think that I am half decent on the spanners, and I use a little bit of common sense. Now, when you look in here now, you can quite clearly see that just by taking this aluminium section out here, which comes across here and then down here, just by taking that out, you get all the room you need to be able to get those cats out. This side comes out fine. This side, you would not get that out without either taking that frame off or the rear bumper and the whole of the exhaust system, which taking all that off is a lot bigger job than taking that bar off. That bar there is simply a nut there, two nuts up there, two nuts there, and then one on the inner arch. Really wasn't a difficult job to get it out. The hardest part of actually getting that bar out was the fact that it is the same size or slightly bigger than this recess. This recess, if you look at it from top to bottom, it's much wider up there than it is down here. So what you need to do with this bar is you need to just angle it up slightly and pull it forward, and then by undoing this bonnet strut here and just propping the bonnet open, you can actually slide all this back to a wider point, and then it just lifts out. So That's worth remembering. Another thing that I saw in the other video that I watched was the guy faffed around with taking the air filters out and then doing something inside that box down there and lifting it all out in one piece, which looked like, he actually said, it was the hardest part of the job. Now again, I don't see the point in that, because literally there is a screw there, and two on the back, and you can leave all that in place and this just lifts off. Again, it's just something, when you look at it, it's kind of common sense, to be honest. You can just see down there now my decat pipes. They have gone in really nice, look like they're supposed to be there, doing a great job. So yeah, I'm going to give all under here a clean tomorrow, and I've still got a panel to put back on there and a panel to put back on there, because they're still missing. And then I've still got the inner wheel arch liner to put on this side, because that's still out at the moment. Reason being, I want to clean under there before I put it all back together again. I don't see the point in putting it back on when it's a little bit dirty under there. So yeah, all in all, it's been really successful. Saved myself a good bit of money, because decat pipes for these are quite expensive, and I also like the fact that it's my own work. You know, whenever I speak to people about this car, the first thing people say to you is, what do you do for a living? And then when I say to them, oh, I make exhaust, they say, oh, so is that your own work on there? No, it's not. Well, why not? So the fact that I've got some of my own work on there now is a biggie for me. I am probably going to take, this has got a Larini system on it at the back, a very expensive system, about £4,000. So I think I'm going to strip that off at some point. I might sell it because I think it'd be worth decent money, and make one of my own systems on it, and I might just chuck a couple of small boxes in it, because I love the noise of it now, I do, but I go out to work some mornings very early, and this has now got to a point where I am worried about starting this at 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, we'll see where I go with that. So there we go, that is the passenger side arch now, all cleaned. I've cleaned everything inside here, as you can see. It's bloody spotless anyway, this car, to be fair. If you can see all the gearbox casings, everything in there. I've cleaned all these wheel arch liners, put all them back in. So yeah, that's this all done. I'm going to put this wheel back on in a minute. I've also just given underneath the back a quick clean as well, so that's all looking really nice now, and obviously everything's back together in there. So yeah, I'm really happy. It's obviously really loud, so I don't know what I will do with that in the future, whether or not I will make a change to the back box, but we'll see. For now, I'm happy. Job's done. The threat of those cats going into the engine is gone, so that's not something in the back of my mind, because that was something I was thinking about a lot, just because the likes of RE Performance and stuff like that, they go on about how dangerous that can be for these cars. And I actually do know of a local car that was parked up for a very long time. If you're local and you know me, you probably know the car I'm talking about. Apparently that is what happened to that car. The cats got sucked into the engine, so it is a big problem on these. So if you've got one of these and you're watching this video and you haven't considered getting your OEM cats out, then I'd highly advise doing it. And if you're watching this, and although I'm not a Lamborghini specialist, so some of you are probably looking and thinking, well, why the hell would I get you to work on my Lamborghini? But you know what, I feel like I've done a really tidy job of these decat pipes, and you know, I've saved myself a lot of money doing it myself. So if anybody watching this has got one and they want something similar doing, then by all means feel free to to give me a shout, and I'm more than happy to take another one on. Like I say, it really wasn't that hard a job. I've worked on much harder cars than this, so yeah, at the end of the day, a car's a car, right? So anyway, I'm going to leave this video there. I'm going to put this wheel back on, and I'm going to have a weekend of enjoying this car. I'm possibly going to buy another car this weekend. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a bit of a surprise. I haven't quite made my mind up whether I'm pulling the trigger on it yet or not. It is nowhere near as fancy as a Lambo, but anybody that knows me knows that I'm not just into cars like this. Anything old, retro, cool, it's a little bit of a clue for you. I love them. So yeah, I've come to a bit of a deal on this car, and on the understanding that I pick it up this weekend. Haven't quite figured out how, when I'm going to do that yet, but by the end of this weekend I might own another car. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. And like I've said in my other videos, if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favour and subscribe, because it helps. I don't get paid for these videos, but it is nice to see views and subscribers growing. And like I said, as time goes on, I've got some really interesting videos to bring. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Cheers, guys.